people? We're back again. Before I start and introduce these products, I want to give a little shout out to one of our customers. Young gentleman sent me this drawing. Thought I'd give him a little shout out, give him a little bit of rep. His name's Bobby. Looks pretty young from the handwriting, but he's definitely building up his skill. This is going on my fridge next to pictures of naked strippers. Awesome. So anyways, we got these markers here. These are a classic graffiti marker. They've been reintroduced as of maybe about 5 or 6 months ago. And for those who don't know, the mini wide and ultra wide was like the wide marker to get back in the 90s and 80s. Actually, they went back to the 70s with the way coastal ones. They were discontinued. The company went out of business, and some upstarts in California started a new company with the original molds, and they are a fantastic product. They are the same shape and form factor, new sticker, same type of nib. These are a gravity feed marker. There's no valve. So you got to use a real thin ink to make sure it runs directly through the nib, comes out cleanly, you get a good line. If you're familiar with a pilot marker, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Just so you know, we do have 2 different nib styles available for this marker. The standard nib that comes on the marker, which is a more dense nib, it makes a harder, cleaner line, but it's going to be stiffer. That's not to some people's liking. So for those who don't, we also feature a soft nib, and as you can see, it's a little bit thicker and it's more spongy. So what that means is it gets a little bit more of a mop action, but you're not going to get as smooth and crisp of a line. Some people take the new nib and they beat it up a bit to get it to look like this. So it's really a matter of personal preference. I personally like a crisp nib when I get a brand new marker. Very much like a pilot marker. When you get a brand new one, you do a nice crisp tag on a smooth surface. Feels pretty good. You know it's going to get beat up over time anyways, so at least take advantage of that nice crisp line when you have it when it's new. What I chose to use in this marker would be the Molotov Transformer Ink. If you've used the Transformers, you've known it's a real thin, runny dye that stains quite well and flows really well through gravity feed markers. You don't want to use a paint in this, so don't put your Soul Tip paint, your Smash Ink, or anything that's pigmented in this marker, because it'll just clog up the nib and you're out of, whatever you spent on that thing. So don't ruin your marker by putting pigmented shit in it. Make sure you use a dye, and that's where the Transformer comes in. What you need to do to fill this guy is pull the nib out, like that, easy enough, and then take this handy dandy Transformer ink, and like I said, the bottle comes with a pre-attached applicator, which makes it a lot easier to put it in there. So take the bottle and you stick it in the hole. Stick it in nice and easy and just go ahead and give it a little squeeze. Take your time, don't move too fast or you'll make a mess. Get her in there nice and good, nice and juicy, and there you go. Now the channels on this is kind of tight, so you got to make sure and ease it in. Don't go in too hard or you might hurt it. For good measure, take a little bit of the dye and apply it to the top of the marker like that, just to get some even tonality in there. You could just turn the marker upside down and let it fill, but I'm impatient. We're making a video. Here's the 2 markers. We got the hard nib and the soft nib. As you can see, a little bit of a difference there. So why don't we take the 2, give them a little run through their paces and see how they operate. So now we're going to do a little test with the 2 mini wides with the hard and soft nib and with the Molotov dye-based Transformer ink. You want to use a thin ink for these markers, don't forget that. This is the mini wide with the hard nib featuring the Molotov Transformer ink dye-based. So this is the mini wide with the soft nib and the Transformer blue dye-based ink. Here's the tag with the soft nib. The end result, pretty similar, right? So I think it's kind of one of those things where it's like, It's whatever you want to use, because at this point I'm looking at it, the end result looks pretty much the same. I would say the soft nib probably draws a little bit more ink through it than the other one, but on the other hand, look at the nib. So it has a bit of give to it. So if your style lends itself to wanting that, you'll probably be happier with the soft nib. For me personally, I just use the stock nib that comes on the marker. Either way, they'll both give you the line that you need to do the job. One thing I noticed was the give on it kind of made me had to reassess how I was writing when I was doing it. But again, it comes down to personal preference. Compared to the stiff nib up here, I don't see a whole lot of difference in the application. So we're gonna do a couple more tags just to get the feel for the nib. This is the mini wide with the Molotov Transformer Ink, the dye-based with the soft nib. So we're gonna do a couple more tags with the mini wide featuring the stock hard nib that comes on it. I think what I'm gonna do is a couple tags hitting up our homie Felix. He's kind of the inspiration for this video. He's been hitting up with these things since like the 70s. I mean, I'm talking like 1978 when I was like a baby. So this dude is like a legend, and he always calls me, so I want to give him a little bit of love and hit him up and say what's up to Felix out there. Hit up my buddy Roberto. You know, you add the superfluous E to the end, because you always got to do that. Did I spell it right? It's from my homie Roberto out there. Roberto, I know you're watching. Give you a little bit of love. Also, top commenter in the next video, I'll be hitting you up too. Alright guys, if there's products you want us to review in the future, definitely leave a comment and we'll make it happen.
If you're looking for graffiti supplies like this, you definitely should hit up artprimo.com, 206-365-4083. Artprimo.com, your choice for graffiti supplies and more. Peace.
My car, then I drop my roof. Look like white time suits. That's just how I do. Then I park my car. Then I swipe your bitch. Eat that white time.